Yuga says Dingyan's focus makes him handsome. We learned in junior high history that Jerusalem's, for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam's shared origin, revered as their holy city. Since 636 AD, Jerusalem's been ruled by the Islamic Arab Empire. Initially, Muslim rulers implemented religious freedom, letting Western Christians pilgrimage Jerusalem. Both faiths' followers long coexisted peacefully. But when Seljuk Turks, the Ottoman Empire's precursor, arrived in Anatolia, Jerusalem's order broke. Seljuk Turks were fierce, fundamentalist, brutally killing Middle Eastern Christians, forcing locals to convert for eternal life. This angered the Pope and many Christian monarchs. In medieval Western Europe, population surged, land was limited, and production efficiency was low. People suffered terribly from distress. Internal conflicts were severe, urgently needed external diversion. So, retaking the holy city, freeing the enslaved, and spreading God's word became the perfect reason. Under Pope Urban II's Great Call, in 1096, Christian nobles and lords launched the first fanatical crusade. Commoners hoped for God's salvation, nobles for wealth. On July 15, 1099, Crusaders captured Jerusalem. Then, in God's name, massacred the city. Afterwards, the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem was established. Baldwin I became its first monarch in 1184, nearly a century after the Crusades, in a remote French mountain village. A young blacksmith's 8-year-old child died. His wife, crushed by grief, had already committed suicide in sorrow. But Christian doctrine states suicide's a sin leading to hell. So, suicides, after death, are decapitated. But if you're friendly with the priest, money could save them. Though the local priest was Balian's brother, he's greedy, cunning. He not only decapitated the buried, but also stole her silver crucifix necklace. That day, a Crusader army arrived in the village, led by a noble named Godfrey, a baron of Jerusalem. Godfrey had joined the Second Crusade 26 years ago to defend Jerusalem and was knighted baron. He's now returning home. This time, Godfrey's main purpose is to find his illegitimate son. After inquiries, Godfrey confirmed Balian, the blacksmith, was his son. Godfrey promised Balian, "Just come with me, your life will be smooth." But Godfrey didn't expect Balian to refuse. Not only had he just suffered profound loss, but he'd also served in the military and helped lords conquer. He'd been disgusted by nobles' ugly power struggles. The magnanimous Godfrey didn't pester. Just said, "My apologies, God bless," then left. But he didn't expect the priest, his brother, felt he was the biggest victim when the deal failed. If Balian went to Jerusalem, he'd have no one to exploit. Angrily, his brother said, he'd decapitated Balian's wife. Enraged, Balian saw his wife's necklace still around the priest's neck. He snapped, grabbed a poker, and sent his brother to heaven. Then, he fled overnight. After a night's thought, Balian caught Godfrey, hoping to accompany him to Jerusalem, the holy city, to atone for his and his wife's sins. Godfrey naturally accepted his hope for lineage. But en route, Godfrey's nephew caught up. He wanted to arrest Balian. Godfrey couldn't agree. Seeing this, the nephew could only give his uncle some face. But he'd just faked retreat. He then ambushed them, intending to kill them all. He prepared to kill both father and son. That way, Jerusalem's baron title would fall to him. But Godfrey's seasoned troops weren't pushovers. Their combat power far exceeded local troops. After a fierce battle, outnumbered, they defeated the local army. But Godfrey also took an arrow, seriously wounded. In the wilderness, they could only treat it simply, leaving fate to God. The group continued east towards Jerusalem. En route, Balian saw many knights killing heretics, using the Bible and papal decrees to claim killing infidels wasn't murder, but a path to heaven. This bewildered Balian. Is this how Christians evangelize? After days of travel, they finally reached Sicily, Messina. Messina. It's an important port to the Holy Land. Here, Balian first saw Muslims. They'd pray towards Jerusalem after paying tax. Balian felt this was no different from their praying to God. God. Is the legendary Holy Land truly that magical? Godfrey said, it's a new world, full of infinite possibilities. In Europe, due to primogeniture, younger sons' lives were hopeless. Godfrey was once a penniless younger son. But after joining the Crusades, he became a noble in the Holy City. This is why Baron Godfrey supports Jerusalem's king. He hopes Balian can stand on his shoulders and help the king build Jerusalem into a better world, a kingdom where Christians and Muslims coexist peacefully, perhaps calling it the kingdom of heaven. Godfrey, having said this, couldn't resist his illness's torment. That night, he knighted Balian. You don't care. For honor. So you aren't Balian. A family's. I give my all. I give my all. By the kings, princes, command. If the prince no longer protects mankind. After his father's death, Balian sailed from the port to the holy city. But fate was cruel. At sea, he met a storm. Balian washed ashore, barely surviving. Alone with his horse, he trudged through the desert. Balian met two Muslims, a noble and his translator. The noble thought since this was his land, the horse should be his. Balian disagreed, revealing his barren status. He demanded a fair duel. Years of smithing gave him great strength. He easily defeated the noble, sending him to God. The translator thought he'd also die, but Balian spared him, ordering him to guide him to Jerusalem. With an expert guide, they soon reached Jerusalem, the holy city. The translator shrewdly offered to be Balian's slave to save his life, but Balian, opposing slavery, decisively refused and gave the horse to the translator. This made the translator grateful and admiring. He praised Balian, "Before you'd even faced enemies, your good name spread among them." After bidding the translator farewell, Balian ascended various hilltops. Legend says this is where Jesus suffered. Balian prayed and repented here all night, but felt no forgiveness. He suspected his abandoned faith and deep sins too heavy. Balian, carrying his father's sword, rode on. He's quickly found by his father's retainers and brought back to the baron's manor. Seeing the priest, Balian expressed his confusion. The priest told Balian that sin isn't about doctrines, because too many believers under God's and the Bible's banner burned, killed, and plundered. It's about truly helping the weak and being kind. Seeing the holy city's prosperity, a deceptive facade, Balian fell into deeper thought. However, Jerusalem's kingdom, though seemingly powerful, was actually nearing collapse, with severe internal strife, split into two factions, the Hospitaller Knights leader, Tiberius, and the late Baron Godfrey's. Tiberius and late Baron Godfrey, the peace faction, and the Templar Knights commander, Reynald and Guy de Lusignan, the war faction. The Knights Templar formed after the First Crusade. Christian factions established 4 Crusader states. But due to Muslim strongmen like Dandan, Pope Urban II organized several Christian military orders, including the Hospitaller Knights, Templar, and Teutonic Knights. Among them, the Templars were the most fanatical, always following papal decrees to eradicate heresy. And now, Jerusalem's King Baldwin IV leaned towards the peace faction. But he'd suffered leprosy since childhood, his body and mind too weak. He could only barely maintain the status quo. Predictably, once he fell, the kingdom would collapse. This is exactly what the Muslim world's legend, Saladin, awaited. Clearly, during this period, Allah reigned supreme. Allah protected the Muslim world. Saladin, a humble hero, at 40, was just over 40, he'd built an Arab empire with no successor, including Egypt, Syria, Sudan, Palestine, Yemen, and North Iraq, nearly encircling Jerusalem's kingdom. Having united the Muslim world, Saladin began planning war on Crusaders to retake the lost holy city. Autumn 1177, Saladin, feeling ready, launched a lightning attack, besieging Baldwin IV's sparse forces. Baldwin was only 16, with just 3 years, and suffering leprosy. Saladin, full of bravado, ordered a clean sweep. But the sickly Baldwin IV unexpectedly showed unmatched military skill, with far fewer Troops routing Saladin, Desert King. The undefeated Saladin wouldn't accept defeat by that youngster. A year later, he returned, but still failed. So Saladin and Jerusalem's kingdom signed a truce. Masked King Baldwin showed generosity, allowing Muslims and all other faiths free passage to Jerusalem for pilgrimage, trade. But 6 years passed, war hawks stirred, constantly provoking small disputes, raiding Arab caravans. Balian, at home, after washing, went to the governors. Outside, Balian saw several Templars, who'd raided Arab caravans, executed publicly. Inside, Tiberius told Reynald, he's stupid, arrogant. He knew those Templars were reckless fools. Reynald cursed him, but couldn't control his recklessness. Saladins amassed 20,000 troops in Syria. If war broke, they'd be doomed. After Reynald left, Tiberius received Balian. He'd been Godfrey's old friend. Balian, his successor, was his ally. After greetings, Tiberius brought Balian to a high level noble banquet to meet people. Prince Guy, seeing Balian arrive, began mocking his illegitimate birth, especially his fiancée, Sibylla. Balian realized this beautiful princess also favored the peace faction. She'd met Princess Sibylla once when she first came to the Holy City. Soon, the king summoned Balian. Sibylla let him in. As legend said, Jerusalem's king wore a mysterious shadow mask. His body was gaunt, like a withered tree. But as he rose, speaking in a calm, steady voice, Balian felt an unsettling danger. Baldwin Ivy's attitude toward Balian was amicable, as Balian's father saved Baldwin I. He asked Balian if he'd ever been certain of his fate's end. Balian said he'd once been sure he'd be buried on a barren hill 100 miles from his birth. Now he's in Jerusalem, facing the king. Face. Baldwin IV said at 16, when he greatly conquered, he thought he'd live a century. Now he knows he won't live 3 more years. That's fate. We never know how we'll be manipulated. But remember, we needn't die against our will. Orders aren't to be defied. Duties can't be defied. But the final choice is still yours. One day, we'll all face God, confess our deeds. Baldwin IV and Balian talked at length. He saw Balian was faithful and had great talent. So he trusted Balian to prepare the pilgrimage route. Inheriting his father's faith, he'd protect pilgrims, especially Jews and Muslims, because Jerusalem welcomes everyone. Balian quickly went to his fief. But this place was poor, desolate, no grass grew. But Balian felt this remote, apolitical place suited him. He dug wells, built infrastructure, and fought to end poverty, to bring rural revival. Balian treated all faiths equally, earning people's deep respect. He's called peasant noble. His actions attracted Princess Sibylla's visit. Balian's words, a man serves his people, instantly charmed Sibylla. Far from the holy city, they felt they'd met too late and slept together. Guy, cuckolded, felt uneasy, agitated. He's always felt hat on fire, uncomfortable. So he and Reynald massacred a large Arab caravan. Saladin was furious, brought a large army. Baldwin IV had to personally lead, even though the journey could cost his life. But before the Crusader army arrived, Baldwin IV could only send Balian to protect those outside the city, despite limited forces. Balian, still fearless, fought Saladin's vanguard. He was utterly defeated, becoming a captive. Surprisingly, his captor was the translator. He's Saladin's deputy. Believing in good deeds rewarded, he spared Balian's life. Just then, Baldwin IV led a large army. The giant golden holy standard symbolized the fanatical Crusader army, still unbroken, still invincible. You'll destroy peace. Han Dang will lose. I'd like to try to arrange it. What's this X? Tent? We must go. I'll send you to my post. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Saladin, still respecting Templars, chose to retreat. But he faced immense pressure from Islam. As grassroots believers demands to retake the holy city were nearly insane. One even dared tell Saladin, risking death, if we hesitate, you won't last. God hasn't blessed Christians, but Allah's blessed Muslims. Allah decides war's outcome. Saladin said, victory's Allah's, but also depends on readiness. Troops' strength, soldiers' health, and morale. So he'd wait for his chance. It wasn't far, once Baldwin IV died. No one could stop him. On his return from peace talks, Baldwin IV was weakened. He used his last breath to beat Reynald, imprisoning him. Masked King couldn't stand. He again affirmed Balian's courage, knowing he's trustworthy. Baldwin IV, after death, would pass the throne to his nephew, Baldwin V. This child was Sibylla's, born to her first political husband at 15, not Guy's. Of course, her engagement too. Guy was political, but he hadn't known. Guy was just a stableman, only shouting kill. He'd invited a wolf. Baldwin's biggest worry was Guy seizing power after his death, to ruin the kingdom. So he wanted Balian to marry Sibylla, take military command, and assist the queen. But such a plan was treason. They'd have to execute Guy and his loyalists. Balian couldn't let innocents die for him. For chivalry's spirit, he refused Baldwin IV. Sibylla was quite sad. She told Balian, you'll understand one day. Great good won't tolerate small evils. That night, a great heart fell. Baldwin IV, after a lifetime fighting leprosy, died in the palace. Sibylla removed his mask, revealing a ghost-like, withered, twisted face. Tears streamed, grieving his life's suffering and admiring his lifelong resilience. After her brother's death, to consolidate power, Sibylla had to marry Guy. The benefit, Guy'd lead Templars and swear loyalty to the new king. Soon, Baldwin V ascended, with Sibylla acting regent. But fate was fickle. Soon, Sibylla found her son had no sensation to touch, which was leprosy's precursor. Misfortune, a cycle of misery, had cursed this family. She knew Jerusalem's dynasty was doomed. Sibylla didn't want her son to suffer leprosy like her brother. So she poisoned him, ending Baldwin V's short life. Heartbroken, Sibylla, after her son's death, gave the crown to long-coveted Guy. Now, chaos reigned. Guy immediately freed stableman Reynald, who, like a mad dog, eagerly created conflict. On a whim, he killed Saladin's sister. What's there to discuss? Saladin sent envoys, demanding Jerusalem's surrender. Else, holy war'd immediately begin. Meanwhile, Balian was assassinated by Templars. Luckily, his father's priest saved his life. Before the army left, Balian met Saladin's envoy. He urged them to stand ground, they wouldn't lose. If they left water for the desert, the army'd be wiped out. Saladin's luring them. Guy wouldn't listen. He's definitely trying to steal the spotlight, ruin his chance. Ultimately, only Tiberius and some Hospitaller knights listened to Balian, withdrew. As Balian had predicted, fighting Arabs in the desert was insane. The army led by two commanders hadn't found Saladin, already had heat stroke. Saladin effortlessly destroyed the army, captured Guy and Reynald. Saladin didn't execute Guy, but Reynald, who killed Saladin's sister, was split. When Balian and Tiberius reached that battlefield, saw countless corpses. Tiberius reflected, a century of war had ended. They'd given their lives for Jerusalem, first thinking they fought for God. Later they realized they fought for land, wealth. Tiberius knew Saladin would soon kill everyone in Holy City. They couldn't resist, so he decided to abandon Jerusalem. retreat with remnants to Cyprus. But Balian wanted to stay and protect the holy city's people. A century ago, Crusaders breached the city, massacred Muslims. He feared Muslims would retake the city, slaughter them. Balian immediately began deploying defenses. He ordered markers 400 meters outside the city. Due to limited time, they could only use catapults when Saladin's army entered range. No wasted shots. Balian was busy planning defenses. But the bishop, who should have been resolute, started to lose his nerve. We must retreat. Side gate's a good escape. But the people? The bishop solemnly said they'll suffer, but it's God's will. Balian was enraged and wanted to send him to God. But Bishop's thoughts showed a big problem, besides Balian. No one believed he could defend the city. Balian immediately gave a stirring speech on city walls. He wanted all the city's people to understand. They must defend this city. Past generations' sins were already upon them. They first occupied Holy City for Holy Sepulchre. Muslims are for Dome of Rock Mosque, Jews for Wailing Wall. If you ask which building's more sacred, no one can prove it. So we defend Holy City not for broken bricks, but to protect its thousands of people. To protect our families, children. The people, listening, seemed stunned. This faith seemed more practical than religion. But Bishop was still afraid. After all, he's a wealthy noble. Without knights, how can we defend? Balian scanned around. He made Bishop's servants kneel. He made all men with weapons, commoners or slaves, kneel, because he'd knight them all. Don't be calm, roller coaster. Quickly send me to directors. Or at handover. Others are ISE a knight. That night, after Saladin's forces reached waterfront, they launched attack. Cannons fired all night. Balian knew his firepower was limited, didn't retaliate, enduring a night of bombardment. Next day, after Muslims prayed to Holy City, Saladin launched his second attack. This gave Balian, silent all night, his chance. From their elevated position, if within range, their limited firepower could still destroy the enemy. Seeing casualties increase quickly, Saladin quickly stopped attack. More people died. Both sides called truce to prevent plague, had to burn bodies. But Christian bishops started arguing again. They must wait till Judgment Day for resurrection. Balian ignored him. If we don't burn now, within 3 days, everyone will die. So God must understand. If he can't, God's unworthy of belief. We needn't care. A few days later, Saladin's subordinate found a weak point in the city wall. He'd observed Holy City's interior, knew it was a modified gate. Saladin immediately concentrated fire, broke through an entrance. But he didn't realize it was Balian's trap. He'd set up formations, lured enemy into breach, slaughtered them. After prolonged siege, suffering 100 to 800 losses, Saladin couldn't take it, offered concessions. If Balian surrendered, he'd release everyone, including Queen Sibylla, even Guy. This was what Balian had fought for. The two men immediately reached agreement. Balian couldn't help but ask one more thing. Saladin also had a famous saying that might answer his profound words to Balian. Don't care what your people believe, but care what they suffer. Because of Balian's perseverance, hundreds of thousands were spared massacre. This was unprecedented, outcome no one imagined. Perhaps this is faith's power. Religion equals belief, but faith's higher than religion. Saladin successfully entered Jerusalem, restoring the city to the Islamic world after a century. But passing by Holy Sepulchre Church, he respected crucifixes. Balian became commoner again. As he left the city, he found Sibylla among refugees. They returned together to a French mountain village. Less than 2 years later, another group of crusaders, fighting for God, passed by Balian's blacksmith shop. A man claiming to be England's king wanted to invite Balian, Jerusalem's defender, to join the Third Crusade to retake Holy City. Balian refused. At the banquet, he was just a blacksmith. Balian understood lands divide and unite. Holy City's glory was just conqueror's ambition. To establish a true heavenly kingdom shouldn't be conquering Jerusalem, but winning hearts. Alright. That's all for today's review. If you liked it, follow, like, comment. That's all. We'll see you next time.